In this video, I'm going to explain all the code that I used in this Python program to simulate this very unique tournament. There's a whole bunch of lists here with the name of score product, and it goes up all the way up to 31. And then another thing you'll notice is that the same thing happens here except with list teams. Now, the bottom line is that for each game, there's going to be one random team from this list over here, test list, one random team playing another random team. So two teams playing against each other. And of course, there can only be one winner. So I put the one winner inside a new list called round 16. And as you can see here, we have round 16, round 8, round 4, round 2, and round 1, which is obviously the championship. So in order to have all the teams not playing each other over and over again, I built in a sort of function that will serve as soon as that team gets selected from this list over here, it will be deleted from the list over here and added to the round 16 list. But the other team who loses, they just get eliminated forever. As you can see in this example, there's game number 3 and there's a random team number 1. And so this is the first team that Python is going to choose. So we take a random choice from the test list up here, and all of the 32 NFL teams are right there. So when we scroll back down, we're going to print this team, and we're going to remove it from the test list, which means that it will not be able to play again in this round. And then we do the same thing with another team, because of course you have to play someone. And then we have a little bit of a wait, and we say this team versus this team, and we print the other team's name. These empty lists that you saw in the beginning of the program. Well, in game number 3, there's a score product number 3, and there's a list teams number 3. So for every game, each list team's list essentially has 2 teams out of all of these teams over here. So let's just say, the Patriots and the Chiefs are chosen. They both are put in list teams 3, and they're both deleted from this list so that they don't play again. So then, it kind of makes sense because it's a single elimination tournament. And unfortunately, we have to have, for every single game, a list team's value. And this goes for the score product as well, because also what I built in is a random score that appears. So score product 3, I append, which means I add to this list an integer, which is a random choice of score list, which is all the possible scores I put up here. Now, of course, theoretically, there can be a lot more scores and more variation, but I just put those numbers up there because I didn't want to make the list too wide. Basically, what these numbers in this bracket are is the index value of this variable. See, when we sort the variable or sort the terms in the list, we basically have the maximum number up front and the minimum number at the back of the list. And 0 means the first thing in the list in Python. And 1 would be the second, 2 would be the third, 3 would be the fourth, etc., etc. After that, after we've set our variables over here, we're going to put time sleep 1, which means the program's going to wait a second so that your eyes can adjust and really comprehend what's happening in the tournament. And now what we're going to have is we're going to have round 16 append, which means that round 16 is going to have something added to it, and what's going to be added to it is the random choice of list teams 3. So the two random teams that we just took from this test list over here, we are going to pick one of them, and that's going to be the winner. And we just say the winner is and we put round 16, the second index, which is really the third because it's the third game, and we're going to put the score was, and we're going to put a space here, and we're going to print one of the scores, we're going to print 2, and then we're going to print one of the other scores. And just as a test, I'm going to print out round 16, which is essentially a list of all the winners of the first round. At game 15, all of the teams in the test list are going to be used up because we've deleted all of them. So this is the end of round 1, and there are only 16 teams remaining. So we'll make Python say, these teams have made it to the next round, and then we print out all of those teams. We wait for a little bit, and now it's the round of 16. Now the reason why you saw at the very top, like round 8, round 4, round 2, round 1, is because there are multiple rounds, and if you win in one of the rounds, you advance to the next round. So once I find game 15, and we're gonna see game 16 is the first game of the round of 16, and we basically essentially do the same thing that we did over here and all the other games before that, but we take two teams instead from the test list. We take it from round 16 and we put them in this new variable called round 8, and essentially that's how the program works. And as the games go on, you'll see like these are the teams that have made it to the round of 8, and of course we don't know who has made it because it's not a fixed like setup until you actually run the program. So Elite 8, we have all of these teams, and just as a little build up, we have some empty space, and these are the semifinals. And you can see that the championship contenders, there's the same thing here, but as a little bit of like user interaction, I put an input which asks the user a question that they will need to type in. So in the championship, there will be 2 teams left, and I created 2 new variables, one of them asking you which team do you think will win. So let's just say, the Buccaneers and Panthers. Let's just say they're playing in the championship, and you would put like Panthers or Buccaneers, whichever team you think will win. And that answer is going to be what this variable is. And now the guess score is going to be what the score will be. What do you think the score will be? And that answer is going to go into guess score, and that's what it's going to be. Basically, this game runs, right? And at the end, you have the tournament champions and you have round 1, which is the remaining team. And then at the end, it'll tell you your guess was, and if you said the Panthers and the Panthers won, it would say Panthers here. But if the Buccaneers won, Buccaneers would be in round 1 and Panthers would be over here. Just reiterating what you put over here, and it'll put what your guess for the score was. And then it'll just thank you for participating in this simulation and ask you to play again. So that's essentially it. It's really just a copy and paste of the same code, essentially, just over and over again, but it's essential, and you can't, at least I haven't figured out a way to use anything fancy to like change the values of everything so you can make it shorter. But yeah, that's all, and we're going to run the program soon. just a reminder that everything is completely randomized. So you can run this program again, and probably the Giants will not win. If the Giants win again, that's pretty rare. That's a pretty rare thing for everything to be randomized. But congratulations to the Giants. They have won, and this was pretty fun. I mean, to make, and hope you guys liked it.